हाँ जी, आप सबका स्वागत है। आई होप एवरीबॉडी इज लिसनिंग मी और आवाज क्लियर आ रही है। तो आज का जो प्रोग्राम है ये हमने एक अपना इसी कदम में इसी राह में एक कदम है कि जैसे हमने पहले फॉरेन अकाउंटिंग के ऊपर एक प्रोग्राम किया था ताकि हमारे मेंबर इंडिया में बैठ के कैसे फॉरेन की जो जॉब्स हैं, वर्क है, वर्क फ्रॉम होम है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज को कैसे ग्रैब कर सकें। ये हमारा एक नया इनिशिएटिव है जो हमारे दोस्त मित्र, मैं उनको इसी वे में इंट्रोड्यूस कराऊंगा। CS अमित विनायक जी, एडवोकेट अमित विनायक, नाउ ही इज बैरिस्टर एज वेल एज एडवोकेट एट कनाडा ऑल्सो। तो वो कनाडा के बारे में उनको काफी नॉलेज है, तो मैंने उनसे रिक्वेस्ट की कि आप हमारे मेंबरों को गाइड करें कि कैसे वो फॉरेन जाके अपॉर्चुनिटीज को ग्रैब कर सकते हैं। क्योंकि प्रोफेशनल चाहे वो कोई भी हो, चाहे CA है, CS है, एडवोकेट्स हैं, जहाँ कोई अदर प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, तो उनके लिए एक चैलेंज ये रहता है कि काफी प्रोफेशनल्स आफ्टर बिकमिंग दी प्रोफेशनल तो उनको होता है कि अभी हम अपना इंडिया में सेटअप कर लें। तो काफी केसेस होते हैं कि जिसमें कोई एज मायने आ गए बीच में कि जी एज आपकी बढ़ गई तो क्या हम जा सकते हैं कि नहीं जा सकते। जहाँ जो हमारे प्रोफेशनल्स बच्चों को भेजना चाहते हैं, स्टडी वीजे का नॉलेज लेनी है, उन्होंने भी क्या सिस्टम रहता है। जहाँ कोई रिफ्यूजल केसेस हैं, कोई विजिटर वीजा में हेल्प, तो इन सभी के लिए अमित जी ने पूरी, जैसे हम CA में कहते हैं ना कि ऑन साइट ट्रेनिंग, तो इन्होंने ऑन साइट कनाडा जाके भी मतलब पूरा सिस्टम देखा है और उसको परखा है और उसको जाना है कि कैसे क्या वेज हैं और क्या लीगल वेज हैं रादर, कि कैसे हम जा सकते हैं प्रोग्राम अटेंड करने के थ्रू। आप इस प्रोग्राम के थ्रू जो हमने इनिशियली प्लान किया था उसमें किया था कि आप इसमें बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी, प्रोफेशनल अपॉर्चुनिटीज कैसे आप क्रिएट कर सकते हो। हमारा पर्पस था कि ये प्रोग्राम करने के बाद आप लोग भी इसे एज ए साइड, जैसे हम कहते हैं कि कंसल्टेंसी, एज ए प्रोफेशनल अपने लिए, अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स के लिए, फ्रेंड्स रिलेटिव्स के लिए, जहां क्लाइंट्स के लिए कैसे एक एज ए बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी भी इसको क्रिएट कर सकते हो। जहां अगर खुद जाना है तो उसको भी आप कैसे इसको यूज कर सकते हो। जाने के लिए आप अपने नंबर खुद बना के खुद फाइल लगा सकते हो। अगर आपको फिर भी लगता है कि हेल्प की जरूरत है तो अमित जी वो भी बताएंगे कि वो कौन से मीडियम है, कैसे आप इनकी हेल्प लेके, इनसे कंसल्टेशन लेके। आज तो ये हमने इनको इनवाइट कर लिया एज ए फ्रेंड, एज ए स्पीकर, बट आगे तो ये बताएंगे कि अगर इनकी कंसल्टेशन है क्या उसके चार्जेस हैं नहीं है। ये सारी चीजें अमित जी आप आज को आपको आज क्लियर करेंगे, क्योंकि ये सिर्फ CA ही हैं जो क्लाइंटों के फ्री में फोन सुनते रहते हैं। ये जो कनाडा वाले या खास करके ये एडवोकेट है ना हमारे अमित विनायक जी, ये फ्री में किसी का फोन नहीं सुनते। तो मैं मतलब कहते हैं इनको कहूंगा कि रिक्वेस्ट आ रही है मेरे ख्याल में। आई होप many members are attending from out of North India also. They are asking me to speak in English. So once again I welcome you all. अमित जी हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं, रादर मेरे ऑफिस में ही हैं, तो मैंने इनको रिक्वेस्ट की थी, आई हैव रिक्वेस्टेड हिम कि टू काइंडली कम टू माय ऑफिस so that we can start this program from my office itself. I welcome you all and I request Amit ji to please come and elaborate the ways, legal ways to go to Canada, either by way of immigration, study visa or otherwise. Amit ji, please. Over to Amit ji.
Yes, good evening, everyone. First of all, we are thankful to all of you for joining us in today's session. Basically, this session is the brainchild of CA Ashwini Jindal ji. So the entire credit for organizing this beautiful event goes to him. So just this idea, let me just discuss with you that how we came to this idea that why we are organizing this webinar with you. So we were just discussing the possible pathways, the opportunities for the professionals abroad, especially the chartered accountants who are looking at the avenues and opportunities there, that how to settle there, how to immigrate there. So in this process of discussion, the idea just came that why don't we organize this session? Because earlier he has also just told that earlier sessions were on the Australian part, that is Australian immigration or the accounting process, then how professional can immigrate to Australia. So now in this way, in this series, we are organizing this webinar. Just I will be discussing with you, I will be sharing with you the information that how as a professional, as a chartered accountant, I can look upon, I can settle, I can think of the opportunities to immigrate to Canada. So I will be discussing with you basically what happens is when the idea came to our mind that we have to go to abroad. So the first challenge is which country I have to move. So there are different opportunities for us. If you think of the Australia, if you think of the Canada, every country have its own pros and cons. So in this process, first of all, I have to see my education will support there, my experience will support me there, that whether it would be fruitful for me to, while selecting the country, that how, what criteria I have to decide, I have to look upon, I have to assess and review the things. So in this process, the Canada is one of the, I think must say, the most beautiful country that you can definitely think of this thing. While you start the journey starts with the research. So when I think that I have to move to Canada, the first thing comes to my mind that how I can move. So in this program, I will be sharing with you the possible pathways by which I can move there. So it may be from the temporary residence, maybe to the PR, maybe to the provincial nomination program, or just to upgrade your education, you may go for the study permit, study visa also. The thing is that there is a lot of information available. There are a lot of gray areas in this. Many confusions are there that I have to immigrate. I have to consider number of factors involved in it. It's not so easy that as a professional that I have spent number of years over here in this country, and now I'm taking the decision that I have to move out of this country, I have to move out of this, I have to settle in another continent. So in this process, how I can help you, that I will be sharing with you my own experience, my own knowledge on this subject of the immigration, the possible pathways, that how I can help you in this process, how I can help you in this journey, that how to start, the number of factors to be taken care, to be kept in mind. So I will be discussing with you the do's and do nots also. So I will be discussing with you the possible pathways, that the temporary residence, if you are applying for the tourist visa, you call it in a general parlance, it's maybe called visitor visa, but actual name is the temporary residence visa. So I will be sharing with you that what mistakes generally we commit while applying for the application. The thing is, we come across in this research process, we just scroll into the Google and YouTube, and we met different consultants. I must say there are a number of unregulated consultants are there. So we just must take care of these things, that whom we are consulting. So that consultant must be the regulated consultant, that who can guide you in this process in a better way, because number of things are on this stake. Your career is on this stake, your life decision is on this stake. So it's not so easy that I can just act upon the advice of any unregulated consultant. I can rely upon that person. So before, I must advise you, I'm not, I won't tell you that you just consult me or somebody else. But while you consult somebody, you must check the background of the person, that whom you are consulting, whether he is having the legal background, he knows the subject, he is into the practice, he is the regulated professional or regulated professional. So these factors will definitely help you to choose your consultant. So straight away coming to my presentation. In this presentation, what I will be doing is I will be discussing with you the immigration concepts. Immigration, in the immigration concept, there are certain immigration laws involved into it, because when I think to immigrate to another country, it is my foremost duty that I must know what law will be applicable to me, under which law I will migrate to the another country, that what will be my constitutional rights. Because if I am sitting in India, I have a fundamental rights. in that country where I am going, whether I do have some fundamental rights, there are definitely charter rights, and their constitution is there, and under which law this immigration process goes on. This immigration law is there, regulations are there. I will be discussing, I will be giving you the overview of the entire process, and then I will be discussing with you the decision maker in the process. If you are filing your visa application, where this application goes, how it is being processed, who takes the decision, whether the decision is a approval or refusal or the rejection. So what the way forward there is, how you can challenge that decision. So in this process of filing visa application, we must take care one thing in mind, that every document should be authentic, every document information should be genuine. There should not be any I must say that that information that is incorrect or that's ingenuine, because that will land you in a number of troubles. And that is one of the serious trouble, that you may be banned for 5 years, that you can't apply for 5 years to that country. So there are serious consequences in this process. So we must take care of these things while we start our application process, while we start this journey. I have to see number of aspects. So I will be just touching upon these things with you. So just to start with my presentation, by the time we move on with the presentation, I will navigate you to certain things. I will pointing out certain concepts that will be relevant for you while you consider your journey in this process. So the topic for the today's talk is the immigration to Canada. That is possible pathways. As I have told you, that number of ways are there that you can go to Canada. So I have broke down this process of immigration into the number of slides that I will be sharing with you. Before I move further, just a minute. So this is by acting on the code of ethics as being a lawyer, there are certain disclaimers that I must read aloud for you, that views expressed in this webinar are personal and shall not be considered as the views of any institute or society or the council we are associated with. The present webinar is purely for educational purposes and it shall not be considered or treated as a legal advice. We are hereby not soliciting any kind of business or promotion. Further, it will not create or give rise to a lawyer-client relationship among us and the participants. Yes. So now, first of all, I will be pointing out certain laws which will be applicable, which will affect my rights, privileges, interest when I move to that country, when I will be applying for the immigration process, when I will be applying by filing my visa application, under which law those applications will be considered, and what are my rights while contesting my application for the process. First of all, the Constitution, Canadian Constitution Act is there. This is the supreme law of Canada. Under this act, all the laws prevail. If any of the law, as we see in India, if any of the law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, that is declared as null and void. Same like is the situation in Canada. If any law or any regulation is inconsistent with the Constitution Act, Canadian Constitution, that will be declared as null and void. I am just giving you the overview of the legal position. I will not be discussing the entire process in this webinar. Then there are fundamental rights. As we are sitting in India, I have told you that we have certain fundamental rights. Right to religion is there, right to speech is there. Likewise, there is a called terminology is being used, that is the charter rights. Like fundamental rights, I have a charter rights. These charter rights are available to the citizens of Canada, to the permanent residents of Canada. No doubt, if you are on the temporary visa there, temporary residence visa there, or you are on the study permit there, then there are certain human rights are also available to you under the human rights law. Then comes, this is the biggest one, that the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. Whatsoever application, whatsoever visa I apply, so that visa application is considered under this law. This is the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, IRPA. This is followed by the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations. So these regulations are under the Act. These regulations contain the procedures, the forms, the process of while we file the immigration application, So under these regulations, it has been narrated that how my application will be considered. What will be my eligibility criteria? What will be my admissibility? What will be my inadmissibility? If there is a decision-making process there, who will be making the decision on my application? If my application have been refused or rejected, what are the remedies available to me? All the entire process has been explained through these regulations. This law is being governed by these regulations. And next comes the Citizenship Act. But natural, once you become into the study permit or you become a permanent resident, then after meeting certain criteria, you apply for the citizenship. So in that process, this Citizenship Act comes into picture. So these laws has to be referred in a sequence manner. Yes. So there are certain decision makers. When I file my visa application goes to which person, to which body, which decision maker. So there are the hierarchy of the decision makers. That first of all is there, that is the Minister of IRCC. IRCC stands for the Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada. This is the short form. Everywhere you will be finding that IRCC is there. Right away, Minister is not taking on decision on my visa application, but the department is headed by the minister, and the powers of the minister are delegated to the officers, and those officers are called visa officers, immigration officers. So once I file my application, may it be for the tourist visa, you call it a tourist visa, or a temporary residence visa, or it's a study permit, or it's a permanent residency. Whatsoever application, that application will go to the immigration officer. That immigration officer will decide upon my application, not based upon the law, that based upon the facts and evidence I placed onto the file. So this is the power they are vested with, that the minister and its associated or delegated officers, they decide upon my application. Next decision maker is the Minister of PSEP, that is the Public Safety Emergency Preparedness. So they are called the CBSA, Canada Border Services Agency. So what CBSA does, the role of the CBSA is that the power consists of they can arrest a person, they can detain a person, they can remove a person, the person who is onto the soil of the Canada, that is illegally staying there. If they found that person, they can detain that person, they can arrest that person, proceedings may be initiated against that, prosecution may be initiated against that person. And once he found guilty, they can remove that person from the Canada. And the another important function CBSA has to perform is at the port of entry, POE. Port of entry function is, suppose you have been granted a visa, that I have been granted a visa, I have been given the tourist visa, I have obtained a tourist visa. Under the tourist visa, I have the right to enter the Canada. That visa is what is called, that visa gives me the right to enter into the Canada. Once I reach on the port of entry, immigration officer is there, that CBSA officer is there. They are vested with the power. They can question me on certain aspect whatsoever it is, and I have to answer. I am supposed to answer them delinquently, accurately. If somewhere they find my answer is not appropriate, they straightaway deny me entry to the Canada. So the question here is, the important point to be noted, that even if I have been granted the visa, I possess the visa, I travel, I reach to Canada, still I can be denied entry to enter into the Canada. So this is a very important point to be noted, that CBSA is vested with this power at the port of entry. I may be investigated, I may be asked a question, and if I do not reply, I could not reply those questions satisfactory to the satisfaction of the CBSA officer, they can arrest or detain me, I may be removed, I may be denied entry into the Canada. So this is the role of the CBSA. It's a very important aspect. And the next comes the Minister of ESDC. These all three are the major decision makers in the immigration process. ESDC stands for Employment and Social Development Canada. So basically what this minister, this department deals with, the employer and LMIA. LMIA stands for the Labor Market Impact Assessment. To this subject, I will be dealing separately. I will be dealing in detail with you. So just giving you the gist of overview of this aspect, that this is suppose I am a Canadian employer and I want to engage a person from a foreign national. I want to employ a foreign national. And in this process, I have to pass through this LMIA process. I will be applying to some authority in the Canada that I am looking for an employee and I am not finding suitable employee within Canada. And I want to employ a person, who is a foreign national having the sufficient experience and possess the qualification. And then I may be granted the approval that I can that I can call a person on this LMIA concept. I can offer a work permit to that person. So this is one of the way that I can move there. I will be dealing separately to this aspect. And this comes the Immigration Refugee Board. Basically, this is the basic structure of the immigration law, how the immigration law works. That once I start my process of immigration, that I have to know what the law is, how I will be governed, who will govern me, who are the decision maker, where my application goes, how it is being processed, because ignorance of law is not an excuse. So once I become into the Canada, I must have to have basic knowledge of the law prevailing over there. So this is in those series of the aspect that this Immigration Refugee Board, what is the significance of this board is, basically this board is divided into the number of categories. That first division, it's Immigration Division. What this division says, this division, the function of this division is that admission and removal of the permanent resident or foreign nationals. So this division, what the function of the division is, that admission or removal of the permanent resident. Suppose I am applying for the permanent residency visa. So my application will be dealt with in this division. So this division will review the immigration detention. Suppose there is some breach of conditions that some immigrant have violated some condition of the visa. That immigration officer may be detained, and that hearing will be conducted in the immigration division. So there is some issues with the admission, whether that person should be admitted as a permanent resident or that person should be removed out of the Canada. That he is a permanent resident, then on the breach of certain condition, he should be removed from the Canada. So that is dealt with this immigration division, dealt by this immigration division. And this is the Immigration Appeal Division. So it is in the hierarchy that if there is an immigration division, and that decision will be challenged to the Immigration Appeal Division. So here the appeals goes with regard to the sponsorships. If there is some family sponsorship is there, or some removal order is there. Suppose there is a person against whom a removal order has been passed by the CBSA, that this person should be removed out of Canada. That is on the breach of certain conditions. So that appeal will go to the Immigration Appeal Division. So once, suppose I have been given a residency visa, I have been granted a tourist visa. That visa is for a short duration. If during the short duration, certain conditions have been imposed on me, and I am violating that condition, so this residency obligation will come into picture. Against that order, I will go to the Immigration Appeal Division. So there are certain ministerial appeals are also there, which goes to the Immigration Appeal Division. So I'm just touching upon the basic concepts. Otherwise, it's a very heavy. I won't overboard you with the information, but this is the most relevant information. Before we come to the possible pathways, these are the basic understanding of the concept. I should have that concept in mind. The next, this is also one of the important number of persons have got permanent residency on the basis of this concept. This is Refugee Protection Division. So somehow a person landed in Canada without any legal status. If he reached to Canada, he can claim a refugee status. To claim a refugee status, he has to file a petition, file an application to the Refugee Protection Division. So once that application is filed, during the pendency of the petition, that person can stay into the Canada. That person can apply for the work permit also. That is subject to certain conditions. So this is the function of the Refugee Protection Division. It deals with the refugee claims. So above the Refugee Protection Division, RPD, there is a RAD, that is the Refugee Appeal Division. In case that claim fails, that refugee application has been dismissed, then against that dismissal order, one can file an appeal to the refugee appeal division. The time period is 15 days. That is the timeline. That is as per the law. Yes. Next comes into the hierarchy that there is a federal court. So in the federal court, I can go to the against the actions of the IRCC. This is the same Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada. Then IRB, Immigration Refugee Board, then the CBSA, then the citizenship officers. Against the order of these bodies, I can go to the federal court. I can challenge the federal court by filing the judicial review application. So in this entire process, federal court has the upper hand. Federal court is the superior to these administrative decision makers. These decision makers are the IRCC, IRB, CBSA. So this is in that line. Then there is a federal court appeal. Against the order of a federal court, I can go to the federal court appeal, definitely. This is the appellant part. Then comes the last and Supreme Court of Canada, that's the apex court like we have in India, the Supreme Court of India. So here is the Supreme Court of Canada. If there is some question of law is involved, definitely I can challenge that that proceedings into the Supreme Court of Canada. So this is basically, I have given you the overview of this Immigration Refugee Board and the decision making powers and this how this division, this immigration decision works over there. Now coming straightway to the immigration structure. So this structure will explain you that how I can think of to move to Canada. So there are a number of ways that I can go to Canada. I won't be able to touch because due to the time constraint, I won't be able to touch each and every aspect of this structure, but definitely I will touch upon the relevant part of this structure. So one pathway is the permanent immigration, that is the permanent residency. We call it PR. Second one is the temporary residency. Just a minute. This is called the temporary visa that I am on the Canadian soil for some specific purpose, specified purpose. Just to touch upon this temporary visa, we can categorize into the visitor visa. Generally, it is called, as per the legal terminology, it is temporary residence visa, TRV. In usual parlance, we call it visitor visa or a tourist visa. Student visa, even student visa is also a temporary visa, because student visa is granted for a certain period, for the duration to complete my studies. No doubt thereafter another pathway is open to me, that after the student visa I got the work permit. That is again, work permit is the third branch of this temporary visa, that again I will be there, I will be granted stay in that country for some period only. So this temporary visa is categorized into the visitor, student and work permit category. Work permit is then again split into the different segments. I will not be touching these segments over there. Yes. Now coming to the permanent immigration part. This is very important to understand that permanent immigration is the family class. Family class is the family unification. That if suppose I am a resident over there, my spouse is living in India or another country, that I will be filing a sponsor application to bring her to the Canada on the permanent residency. Like this way, if you you can file a application for the parents also or the dependents also on the human and compassionate grounds. That's a separate branch. I will not be touching that. Permanent immigration, first is the family class, second is the refugee class, and third is the economic class. Under the economic class, majority of we just have eye on that this class that we can go to Canada on the permanent residency. In the economic class, there is a provincial nomination program is there. That there are certain programs which are there is a federal government, there is a provincial government, there is a they decide together that certain programs will be provided for the immigration to just for the economic growth of the provinces. So there are certain provincial nomination programs. Those provinces nominate a person. That person is given a certain weightage into the comprehensive ranking system, that is the CR score. They got 600 points into the CR if you have a PNP nomination certificate. And if you got that nomination certificate, then for sure your chances are promising to get the PR. So this is a good pathway that we can explore and work on it. Under the provincial nomination program, there are two aspects are there: skilled worker and the business. If you are on the business visa, you are on an investor visa, you can definitely work on these aspects. If you are eyeing on a skilled worker, if you don't find a score into the federal skilled program work, FSW, and then you can work it on the provincial nomination program that I will be discussing with you what number of pathways are available if I just look at the provincial nomination program under the skilled worker category. Under the economic class, one is the provincial program, second is the federal program. One limitation is there for the provincial nomination is that the province which nominates you, so it is your duty to stay over within that province for a certain period. So there is a province also under which you have to give an undertaking that I will be living for this specific period within that province. There are certain provisions like that. But under the federal program, if you got the permanent residency, then you are open to go to any province. You can work and settle in any province. You can land in any province if you are under the federal skilled worker program, FSW program, or the federal program. So this federal program is further categorized into the skilled worker. We generally called it federal skilled worker program. So majority class belongs to this program. Majority future aspirants, immigrant aspirants, they just eye on this federal skilled worker program, because as a professional, if I am a chartered accountant, I will be definitely looking at this, because there are considerations that my qualification, my experience will be weighed, and I will get definitely a better CRS. If I get better CRS, then I can opt for the FSW. Otherwise, I will be working on the other aspects, that how I can immigrate. Under this federal program, there is one skilled program, that's investor and entrepreneur and self-employed. Basically, this is the broader aspect, broader structure of the temporary visa and the permanent immigration. Now, I will just be giving a quick reference to one by one to these three aspects. First is the temporary, second is the study, and third is the permanent. I will be touching just three programs only. So here comes, what is the temporary residence visa? So we all basically, I think, suppose I know that this is called a temporary visa, tourist visa, visitor visa. So it's definitely a short duration. So this has been broken down into the three categories. I have told you that visitor visa, student visa, and worker visa, work permit, these all three are categorized as a temporary visas. Another temporary visa category is the super visa, parents and grandparents. The person who is living over there, he is a permanent resident, he is a citizen. He may sponsor their parents, or he may call their parents on a super visa. Super visa is meant just for the parents and the grandparents only. And duration of this temporary visa is, if you are on the tourist visa, that is a visitor visa, duration generally is of the 6 months. That visa is granted up to the date of expiry of your passport, but condition is there that you cannot stay within Canada for more than 6 months. You have to break that period. You have to come back to your home country. Then you may travel immediately day after that. Once that 6 months is completed, you have to come back. Then you can go again. But that is also again if you got the multiple entry visa. If you got a single entry visa, then you can just go once. You have to double check your visa application and double check the visa page you got where there is a multiple entry is written or not. If it is written multiple entry visa, that visa is valid till the date of expiry of your passport. In that eventuality, you can go and enter to Canada a number of times, but you can't stay more than 6 months. This is the condition. Likewise, there is a condition in the case of a super visa. Earlier, super visa was granted for 2 years. Now the law has been changed. Super visa will be granted for 5 years. The parents go and stay there for 5 years. Subject to certain conditions are also there that has to be complied with. After the 5 years, they can get a 2 years more extension. It means now parents can go and live with their kids for 7 years. So what is the visa process? So once I filed my visa application, we got a number of questions. I will be dealing those questions. I will be giving you answer for the all. I will try my best to answer all the questions. Temporary visa. So while I file my application for the temporary visa, there are certain do's and do nots. I will be telling you what. those things should be and must be kept into the mind, because once I got a rejection or a refusal, the second application is again a challenging one. So before you file the first application, you must work well, you prepare your document well, so that you can put for place your application, your case in a better way, so that an immigration officer can decide upon merits, your application on the merits. So how this process goes, that once I file my application, where my application goes, how it is being dealt with. So this I should keep in mind, so that I can prepare my document accordingly, so that I can present my case accordingly. So first of all, while I apply my application, that application definitely that application will be filed prior to my arrival over there. Then that application goes to the visa assessment, that the case processing officer. That case processing officer process my application. If there is any, he finds anything that is not meeting the criteria, that is not meeting the regulation part, that there are certain documents that is defective document is there, or that some information that he finds that information is conflicting information, he can't rely upon, you could not place the evidence to substantiate your application. In that eventuality, that case processing officer will put notes on that application and then forward it to the immigration officer. Then it will go to the desk of the immigration officer for the final decision. And mind, this is a very tricky and very important aspect, that when you file an application to go to the case processing officer, then he forward that application for the final decision to the decision maker. How it is, this stage is important, that I will be sharing with you in the next slide. And TRV is issued definitely for a limited period and a temporary period. As I told you, it may be a single entry TRV or multiple entry TRV, but in that eventuality also, but 6-month condition is there, that will be there. Then once you get the temporary residence visa, you can be admitted to the soil of the Canada. But still, as we discussed, that there is a possibility that CBSA may again question your presence at the port of entry. Then you have to satisfactorily answer those questions. Otherwise, he can deny entry to you in the Canada. Then foreign national, FN stands for foreign national. Foreign national must comply with the conditions of visa. If there are certain conditions which have been attached to your visa, so once you get the visa, you must go through that visa approval. If there are certain conditions, then you have to abide by those conditions while you are in Canada. Otherwise, it may land you into trouble. And there is also a foremost duty upon you, that if you have been granted a visa, and you should leave the country, you should leave the Canada before or by authorized period of stay. That is 6 months usually in the case of temporary residence visa. If you do not leave the country while your period is being expired or on before the date of expiry, it may cause you a trouble. Then you may be considered as out of status. Then there are the certain other consequences that I have to follow, that we can deal separately. Now, this is the important aspect into the temporary residence visa. So these are the grounds of admissibility. You must keep these grounds in mind while you prepare your application, because this is the stage which can give you a visa or which give you a refusal. So this is the security reasons, that these are the factors upon which your application is being considered and reviewed by the immigration officer. If he finds that you may be a threat, you may be a prospective potential threat to the country of Canada, these security reasons, he may deny your application. Then human or international right violation. If there are certain allegations against you, there are proceeding, there are convictions on these grounds, then your visa may be denied. Then committing a crime, if you have committed a crime, that's what natural, that will cause a negative impact on your file also. Then organized crime, you are part of the organized crime or the organizations, then definitely it's a negative sign. Then medical reasons, in certain situations, if you got some medical issues and you could not pass the medical examination, if it has been recommended, and that may be one of the cause for your inadmissibility. Financial reasons, definitely you must show this, have sufficient funds that you can support while you are in Canada. You can live there for that period for which you have applied for. Then misrepresentation, this is a very important clause, that while I submit my application, I earlier told you that I have to make it double sure, I have to double check that any information I am providing in my application, that should not be conflicting information. There should be sufficient evidence in support of my application. whatsoever information I am giving, whatsoever document I am going to attach with my application, that should be the genuine and legal, valid and original document. That should not be fabricated one. Otherwise, it may cause you, if there is some misinformation is there, it may cause you in a big trouble. That 5-year ban is there if you misrepresented any facts to the immigration. Then failure to comply with the provisions of the act, then having an inadmissible family member, if somewhere inadmissible, then you may also be denied visa. So these are the basically inadmissibilities. So there are general refusals. Just suppose once I filed an application for the temporary residence, so how refusals come? So there is general standard wording written in the refusal letter. Then how to address those letters, how to answer that, how to face that challenge, that once I applied my visa have been refused, then what to do next? This is the important part. So generally, these letters come into the language, a standard language is there that visa officer is writing on your application, giving decision. This is part of the decision language. This may be that I am not satisfied that you will leave Canada at the end of your stay as a temporary resident, as stipulated in paragraph so and so of the regulations based on your travel history. So in this situation, the application was rejected that the person who applied for the visa, he don't have any travel history. The another possible reason that may be given to refuse the visa is that I'm not satisfied that you will leave the Canada at the end of your stay as a temporary resident as stipulated paragraph so and so based on the purpose of your visit. If the immigration officer is not satisfied that you mentioned the purpose of visit in the application, that is not convincing, that there is no logic, that you are giving a reason that you are visiting that country, you are visiting to Canada. If you could not convince the immigration officer with the purpose of your visit, that may be one of the ground to refusal. We have got a question over here that somebody applied for a short-term duration course to go to Canada to pursue that studies, and that visa was refused. And definitely in that application, the case was not presented properly. In case you are filing otherwise, because the law says if you are going to Canada for the study purposes, that course is more than 6 months or more, then you have to apply for the study permit. That is a separate application. But if you are going for short duration courses, may it be a 3 or 4 month course, or you are going to take some examination, and that will be considered as a temporary residence visa. But in that application, you must support your application, you must present your case appropriately. This was one of the reasons that that application was refused on the purpose of the visit. Yet you could not explain your purpose there. So this basically this regulation 179 is read with that B clause says that you will leave Canada by the end of the period authorized for your stay. This is general standard wording they use in the refusal letters. So these I have just template I am sharing with you. Somehow these kind of the other refusal letters may also be containing the such kind of the observations of the visa officer. So it depends that how you present your case. So that is why I am telling you that before you submit your application, you must consult a professional who is a regulated professional. You don't come into the grab of that unregulated professional. They may give you pass on certain misinformation. They may misguide you. Maybe lack of the information may also be one of the reasons that your visa application is being refused. So must consult some good lawyer, some regulated consultant before you file your application. So these are the general reasons of refusal of temporary residence visa. That's why I'm sharing these reasons, because while you file your application, you must keep in mind these things. So this may not be one of the reasons in my case. So we have to prepare our application. Likewise, we have to support our application by filing those documents. So lack of travel history may be one of the reason for refusal. So there must be some travel history. Travel history means you must have traveled somewhere into nearby country. Strong family ties to the Canada be also one of the reason. Length of your stay, that you are filing your application and you are seeking that I will be staying there for more than 6 months, then visa officer will definitely not consider your application, because you are filing a temporary residence visa. How you can request for to grant for 8 to 10 months visa? No. So real purpose of the visit, you must explain your visit. There must be a letter of representation along with your application that will be explaining why you are visiting to that country. Then lack of employment prospects in your home country, that visa officer consider that you will not return to your home country in that situation. Then current employment situation in your home country, but that's the same thing. And the personal assets and economic status you are having in your home country. If you don't have any personal assets or good personal assets, or you have no economic ties or status in your home country, visa officer might get the impression that you will not return to the home country. Then financial situation of the host in Canada. Host means the person who is sponsoring you to Canada to come to Canada. Suppose my friend says you come to Canada, I will take care of the things for you. But that host is not so financial well, then visa officer might consider it in a negative sense. Then documents that do not appears to be authentic but natural, a document we are to attach with the application that should be genuine, original, valid one. Again, history of overstaying status on a previous visit to Canada. If there is some history that I visited there in earlier earlier situation, then I stayed there for a longer period. I was removed, a removal order was passed against me. Like this is the situation, then next time I will not be granted the visa. Then illegal status in the country of residence. If you are applying from Canada, then you may be having a illegal status. If you are having an illegal status in Canada, then how that country will grant you a visa? That's also one of the reason. Then other reasons are medical and misrepresentation that I have shared, discussed with you. So now the important is why now if once my visa is refused, then what to do next? What is the remedy available to me? First is that I reapply for the same. In that situation, I will be under a challenge that once my visa application has already been refused and I am applying again, then I have to make a strong representation along with my data application. Otherwise, in the case of a situation that refusal of application of my temporary residence visa or study or work permit visa, I don't have a right to appeal. I cannot appeal the decision. The only remedy with me is to file an application for the judicial review that will go to the federal court, and it costs. It's not so easy to approach there into the federal court because the legal system, legal mechanism over there is a costly affair. It's not so easy that you review your thought that you are challenging. But still, if you have a strong grounds to challenge your refusal, you must and definitely go for the judicial review, and the court will definitely grant you the remedy on the basis of merits of the case. If there is a change of status or extension, if you are within Canada, you are on temporary residence visa, and your 6 months are going to expire, definitely you can apply for the extension of the visa. Or if you have gone there on the temporary residence visa, visitor tourist visa, and now you have decided that I want to pursue or do some course or do study, then you definitely can apply there for the study permit. If you got a job opportunity over there, you are about to take a job, you think of that I can work over here now, I can stay longer there, then definitely you have to file a change of status application either for the study or for the work permit. The point here is if you are on a study on a tourist visa, temporary residence visa, TRV, you cannot study there, you cannot work there. For that, you have to get the status changed. Then loss of and restoration of temporary residence. So if you are or there, you are there on the tourist visa that was 6 months, and that 6 month period have expired. So it means you are out of status. Now you have to apply for the restoration, or you apply for you have to apply for the restoration, that is within the period of 90 days, or you have to leave the Canada. So this is basically all about the tourist visa. Now I will just touch upon in a quick manner, that is study visa. If you are 18 plus, why? If you are a chartered accountant, you are professional over, you are working over here, you may consider to upgrade your education. You can go over there, you can study over there. In this pathway, this is also one of the good pathway to move to there. If you are not about to make a CRS, if you are not about to get a work permit, this is a good pathway that you can consider, that you can go and study there. If you study over there, you upgrade your education, you will get a Canadian education point in your CRS. And after that education, if you get a work permit and you work over there, then you will get a Canadian experience. And Canadian experience also have certain points. Earlier, majority of the immigrants have been given permanent residency on the basis of the Canadian experience class. So this is also one of the good pathway that you may consider, that age 18 plus definitely, qualification +2 or graduation. If you are IELTS, that this is the important parameter, that you must go for the IELTS that's academic, not general, because general IELTS is considered for the permanent residency only. IELTS 6 each if you are a +2. If you are graduate, then 6.5 overall. Then offer letter, this is the process. This is the process I will be explaining you in a pictorial part way, this entire process. So this is the how we consider this study visa application. The first step is we have to select the university. Second is you obtain the offer letter from the university. You apply to the university that I want to study this course. You will get the offer letter. Once you get the offer letter, then you will pay the tuition fees. Once you pay the tuition fees, you will be given the letter of acceptance. Once you get the letter of acceptance, you have to go undergo medical. You will go for upfront medical. Once you go for upfront medical, then there is a GIC, that is the guaranteed investment. You have to deposit this minimum amount for your future expenses while you will be studying over there in Canada. Yes, then you will definitely will be, after this entire process is complete, then you will be preparing and submitting your application. That is the under the STS program or SPP, that is the student direct stream. Now it is called student partner program. So once you file under this program, your application will be processed quickly. Otherwise, it may take certain delays. Then you will receive, once you file the visa application, you will get the biometrics. Then once you get the biometrics, then after certain time your application has been approved, then definitely you can get, definitely you got the study permit and you can move over there. So in the entire process, if your study permit is refused, then you go to my previous slide, that you have no right to appeal, only judicial review application can be filed. So once you land over there on the study permit, may it be after +2, may it be after graduation, once your studies are completed, you have a right to apply for the post-graduation work permit, PGWP. So this post-graduate work permit is granted to you after your studies are completed. You are on a valid study permit visa, then PGWP will be granted to you. So eligibility is there, that you must have completed this study. You must have applied work permit within 180 days of completion of the course. And third is the valid student visa. You should be there within Canada on a valid student visa. So this is the foremost condition. Then work authorization for students. So how once you completed your study, once you get the PGWP, how much time you can work within Canada? So if your job is within the campus you are studying in, the university college you are studying in, if you got the job within that campus, then there is no time limit. You can work for 8 hours. Or there is no time limit. If you got the job off campus, out of the campus, then you can just work for 20 hours per week only. And upon completion of the studies, apply for PGP, then till then you can't work basically. Once your studies are completed, you haven't applied for the work permit, but you can't work during that period. Once you applied the PGWP, then you can start working even if you are not granted the PGWP. Yes. And duration is definite. If your course is for 1 year, you will get work permit for 1 year. If your course is 2 years or more, you will get work permit for 3 years. This is called the declarative one, that express entry. So express entry, this is the one of the good pathway to move over there, that this express entry is worked out through the comprehensive rating system, CRS. Last time the cutoff was 471. So due to the COVID, draws are not being happening. So by the July, as per the CIC, there is a announcement that they will be starting with the FSW draws. And now I will share with you how to score well, how to achieve the higher score in CRS, how you can boost your score with the legal ways. So there are basically 3 kinds of the program: SSW, FST, that is federal skilled worker, federal skilled trade, and the experienced class, experience in the Canadian experience class. That's it. Eligibility requirement. So this is the eligibility requirement. It's very simple program, that first of all age is considered. You got the point for the age. The sooner you start, the higher the points you will get. Second is your education. Third is your work experience, language ability, IELTS. So IELTS, sorry. IELTS, sorry. And you got if you got the higher band, you got the higher score. Adaptability factor is there, then the arrange employment if you got the offer letter. So I have put in all this concept into a slide. So this is how we can go through and understand this concept. While calculating my CRS for the express entry, there are the certain factors on the left hand side. The first column, age, level of education, English language proficiency, work experience and factors. So if my age is, red category portion says if my age is between 18 and 30 years, I will get maximum score. This red category, this red mark, it denotes I will get the highest score in this category. If I am having the age 18 to 30, master degree or doctorate, my proficiency test in English language is 8,777 band, 8 into the listening and 7 to the other reading, writing and speaking. And 3 years plus experience, arranged, knock code, I have, knock code, arrange employment, provincial nomination I have, or Canadian education or work experience I have. These are the boosters for my CRS. If I got these scores out of this red category, definitely I will meet out the upcoming CRS draw. On the other side, blue portion hits the average points. If my age is 31 to 40, bachelor degree, minimum IELTS 6 is, experience 1:3, arrange employment, knock OAB, then sibling is there, merit applicant, jointly evaluate. These factor will, this entire process of calculation based, if you how you can calculate your score is you just go to the CIC website. There's a CS calculator is there. You put your information into that, your credentials into that, you can get this score. Now the point is, if my CRS is low, then how I can boost my CRS? The one factor by which I can boost is to upgrade my education. If I am a graduate, I can consider to become a postgraduate. If my IELTS score is 6 each, that I should definitely consider to get 8,777 or 8 each or 9 into that category. If I get the higher score, higher will be the CRS I will be getting. If you are lacking into the experience, then you may increase your experience level. If you are still lacking into that, then you may definitely work for the job offer. Then how to get a job offer? This is a very important aspect. So job offer, there are the job banks are there. Job bank is there, Indeed is there, and LinkedIn is there. There are a number of employers. They are offering a good opportunity for the professional, for the chartered accountant, for the other professionals also. You may search of the job, you may apply for the job. If your experience, your education matches with that criteria, they can offer you the job offer. If you get a job offer from a Canadian employer, this will add you to the CRS. You will get a booster. And if sibling is there, that is also one of that, you get certain points for that also. Otherwise, the another aspect that I upgrade my education over there. If I get Canadian education, definitely I will get the point. After the Canadian education, if I work over there, I get the experience in Canada, definitely I will get points for that also. So this is all about the express entry. So this is another program added to the this PPT. I think this is not relevant. This may not be relevant for you. That caregiver program is there. This is for basically the home child care provider, home support provider. So I don't find relevant to discuss with you. So this is all about my presentation. So in case you have any question, you have any query, you have any doubt, you may WhatsApp me at this number, or you may write an email. I will be happy to answer your queries and concerns. That is subject to the availability of my time, because being a professional, I understand you also being a professional, you will appreciate this thing, that time is the value, and we have to we know the value of the time. So in this way, I will try my best to answer your queries and help you out in this process of journey to immigrate to Canada. So still, if you have any questions, you may write into the chat box. I will be happy to answer you. And thank you.
Question answer.
Yes.
Kindly write your question in the question answer only. It will not be possible for us to see the chat box. Hello. Questions. First question, before start. What are the age restriction in PR?
Yes, there is a one question that what are the age restrictions in PR or other visas? So I don't find there is age restriction, but definitely if you opt to for the express entry, and if upper is the age, then definitely CRS will be the low. So it is one of the factor. Yes, any opportunity for person between 55 to 60, there is always an opportunity for every person. Yes. And what is the difference between SDS and non-SDS? So this SDS is the program that student direct stream. If you are having the IELTS score 6 each, you are +2 with 65% marks, you have deposited your GIC. There are certain these parameters. On the basis of these parameters, your application will be considered into the SDS portal, or otherwise the system will automatically segregate your application to the normal portal. Under the SDS, you got your application processing quickly. Yes, age is definitely a factor. Why I am calculating the CRS. Even if you are a chartered accountant, the chartered accountant is not considered as any degree. If you go for the valuation, you will be awarded the graduation level evaluation. Then definitely it will affect your score. So if you are below the age of 30, definitely your CRS will be higher. If once you cross the age 30, CRS will fall down. Yes. Is it possible to convert visitor visa to study visa? Yes, it is possible. You go there and file an application for change of status. See, your status, your family status while you are in India, it doesn't affect your chances to go to Canada. Maybe under the if you are calculating the CRS, your family situations don't affect this thing, because while you are calculating the CRS, you have to mention either you are married, you are single, or divorced. But it doesn't affect majorly if you are within the right age group, if your education supports you, if your experience supports you, other factors are good there, then definitely you get a better CRS. Yes, there's a tricky question is there. If the previous employer is not giving you the experience certificate, yes, bank statement. Suppose you are working with the new employer now, you can obtain a certificate from the new employer mentioning thereby the duties and the other parameters, that how many hours you are working, how many pay you are getting. And to support your previous experience, what you can do is you definitely can attach your bank statement which substantiate, which shows that you were employed with some employer there, you work there, you are getting remuneration for that. And you can mention over there you have worked for this period to this period, and the employer is not accommodating you. In that situation, what you can do better is you can obtain a references letter from your co-employees over there. That will support you. That is the second, that will work as a secondary evidence to support your application. So there are number of courses as a chartered accountant can go and you can take the courses over there. That is in the different number of courses are there that is being into the field of the accounting, auditing, internal auditing. Number of courses are there. Do we need to have old funds in our hands, or it can be gifted by our parents for PR process? That gift is valid, no problem. Sir, is that express entry works for CA having more than 5 years of experience? Yes, I have taken it up. Being a CA, which province has a higher in demand? Every province is higher in demand. Where you got the opportunity, you go there. So that's my humble suggestion. Yes. Yes, from where you can get the ICCRC. So there is a one college for these ICCRC agents. You go there, you Google it there, College of Consultants, Regulated Consultant is there. You will find the search engine there. You can definitely find a consultant who is regulated one. For the NOC code for the teachers and chartered accountant, you may just Google it down. If right there will be 4431 or 1111 code is there. Among which of the following should applicant apply first? Federal Express. This is a silly question. that it's up to you. If you got an invitation to apply from the PNP, you definitely go. If you meet the criteria for PNP, you go for the PNP, or you try the federal one. Do you team help in PNP? Yes, we can guide you to the process, that which PNP criteria you can meet and how you can check it out. It is good to study precursor after completing CA from India. Yes, it is up to you. You can go and study over there. You can upgrade your knowledge and education while you go to Canada, because if you to settle in Canada, definitely you have to upgrade your knowledge. That is from a good decision. So kindly suggest the name of PNP for Indian CAs who in the age of 45 to 50. We have to search it out specifically, as such there is no category. So how can I calculate CRS? For to calculate the CRS, you just go to the Google, write in the search engine that CRS calculator. The first link you will get for the CIC website, it will bring you navigate to the CRS calculator. Yes, if you are having relatives in the province of Manitoba or in the province of Alberta, definitely that would be a good help for you to get the provincial nomination certificate. In the other provinces, if you have the siblings, that the real brother and sister, only then you get the marks while you calculate the CRS. Can we do CPA after going to Canada? Yes, CPA can even be done while you are sitting in India, no problem. Please share the format of reference letter to be taken from the employer. Yes, I will do that. Please, can you put some light on Bill C9, how to find job? To find job, I have told you that go to the job bank, Indeed or LinkedIn. You can search these. These are the genuine sources working well within Canada. You can definitely find a good link or an employer. CA is considered as a bachelor degree, yes, not a master. Any significance of doing CPA after CA? Yes, significance is much better if you have to settle. If you go and settle there in Canada, definitely CPA will work for you. CA is the good tool to do the CPA. So same question, does the proof? Yes, funds in the PPF. See, if you have to show the funds, the purpose of showing the funds, that funds are readily available to me. If the funds standing in the PPF, definitely there are conditions that you can withdraw those funds up within some time. So those funds are not readily available. So I do not suggest to show the funds in the PPF. Changing commentary, those are beneficial for, yes, change is always beneficial. How to check the states which are offering PNP? There are, every PNP have its program, may it be Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. So you may search out or go to the website of those that specific province. There in every province they have a occupation in demand list. They have a negative occupation. You may check whether you fall within that occupation in demand. You can definitely apply for the PNP. Funds in equity, yes. Yes. Yes, my office, I am operating from Jalandhar itself. Funds in equity share can work. No, I just told you funds should be readily available. So in equity share, it's not readily available. We cannot evaluate how much funds it will be there on the particular point of time. So we know consultant is regulated. Just to check the consultant if regulated is there. If you see, I have to check whether a person is a lawyer. You go to the profession of a lawyer is regulated by each province separately. Suppose if talk to me, I am regulated by Law Society of Ontario. If you go to the website of the Law Society of Ontario, there is a link for the directory. If you write my name into that directory, if it pop up my name over there, it will show that I am a practicing lawyer there and what is my area of practice there. Likewise, each province, every lawyer belongs to, you can go to that Law Society website. You can check whether that person is a lawyer, regulated, registered, and licensed to practice or not. LLB degree is evaluated as first professional degree. Will I get points of the master degree? Yes, you will get. This is a silly question, that fees charged by the Canadian employer for providing job offer. They don't charge any fees. It's on the basis of merits. I think CA is equivalent to post-graduation degree. No, it's a graduation degree. Which going to pass in legislative committee? Yes, that's a legal question. approximately how much funds should be readily available for express entry. If you go to the CIC website, there is a chart given for the funds that's based upon the number of applicants you are. If there is a single applicant or if there is a 4, 5, 6 applicant, that chart shows that how much funds you require. So can we do CPA along with study permit granted by Canadian government? Yes, you can do. Yes. So I think definitely we have taken majority of the questions. And thank you all of you for the patience, hearing and bearing. And over to CA Ashwini Jindal ji, please.
Thank you everyone for joining us for this program. Amit ji has shared his number in the PPT. I am also sharing in the chat box. Number is एक मिनट to the host, to everyone. I have shared Mr. Amit ji's number. You may WhatsApp him, because it will not be possible to answer every query one by one on telephone. It will be better that you just put your query in the WhatsApp. So he will be able to answer it. Thank you everyone for joining us. If there is any specific consultation, then you may discuss with Amit ji. Thank you very much. एक अटेंडी हैंड रेज रहेगी. एक हैंड रेज है. Hand raise just a minute. One hand raise is there. अशोक खुराना and प्रियंका बांसल. हाँ जी प्रियंका जी, आपको अलाउ किया है. हाँ जी पूछिए क्वेश्चन. हाँ जी प्रियंका बांसल जी.
हेलो.
हाँ जी.
हाँ जी सर. Good evening sir. Sir, I'm a chartered accountant from India. Actually, I needed some help regarding this. Like my husband is on study visa in Canada. Now he's on applied status in postgraduate work permit. We have applied for his postgraduate work permit on January 2022.
Yes.
And I have applied for my spouse visa in last year in July 2021. And till now we didn't get a result. Can you help with this, or how can we proceed with this further?
Basically, these applications are being dealt by IRCC on a FIFO method. So it's all due to the COVID and due to the Ukraine immigrant refugees. They were previously working on those files. Now they will be taking up the files in a due course, but I cannot assure you or cannot give you the timeline for that, because nobody can give you except the IRCC. For that, I suggest you to raise a web form in case you have any query.
So I have raised many web forms, but yes, I just get an automatic reply for that, yes, but I didn't get any manual reply for that.
Yes, then you have to wait for that. No can just tell you the timeline. Nobody.
Like I needed to know, can we apply for a visitor visa or anything I can apply on my CA base?
Yes, you can file a concurrent application. That's possible, but for that again, that will take a time. Again, it's uncertain that how much time that application will take again.
No, I was just get to know about any loophole I can do on the basis of my CA. I can apply something else.
If there is no loophole that you are a chartered accountant, then immigration don't consider that as a factor.
Okay.
Yes.
So I cannot apply for any work permit on basis of my CA.
On the basis of work permit, you need a job offer from an employer over there. Only then you can go.
So like presently, I'm working here in ICI Bank in India as a credit manager. So based of this, can I apply something?
You can apply for. You can just search for the job on the job bank, Indeed or LinkedIn. If you get any link or offer from the employer, definitely then you can apply for that.
That only I need, and
only then
the consultation. So yeah, that consultation only I needed. That being a CA, you can help me with that things, na?
Yes, we can work over there. You get my number. You may contact me over there. We can work it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
हाँ अशोक जी, हाँ जी, आपका क्वेश्चन पूछिए जी, अशोक खुराना जी। अशोक खुराना जी। हाँ जी, चल रही, जस्ट अ मिनट,